everyone. I'm Jodie Sweetin, and I am joined by my wonderful co-star, Corey Sevier.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
We are so excited for all of you to see our new movie, The Heiress and the Handyman, which is premiering on the Hallmark Channel. And we have a couple of questions that Hallmark Channel sent our way for us to answer. So, Corey, shall we get started?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. It's so great to see you, by the way.
I know.
It's so much fun shooting this movie, you guys. You're absolutely going to love it. It really. So The Heiress and the Handyman follows my character, Heiress, June Waltshire. The pronunciation is very important, who is living her best life staying at one of her family's hotels in Greece. So can I share kind of how her luck takes a little bit of a turn?
Yeah. You better fill people in on what happens to poor June.
Yeah, so June is living her best life, and then June returns and finds that she is no longer living her best life. She is now living a life with no credit cards, no money, no jets, no houses, no clothes. Well, I mean, she's got clothes, but no designer clothes.
That's right.
Basically, she's lost everything due to some incredibly tragic circumstances with her family's finances. And the one saving grace is that June's Aunt Bertie, who has recently passed, has left her in a safe deposit box a key to her house, a little farm in upstate New York. And so at least June has a roof over her head. So in typical Heiress style, she rolls in with quite a bit of luggage. And that's where we run into your character.
That's right. So after June finds her family fortune has disappeared, as you just stated, she moves to her great aunt's farm to get a fresh start, and she runs into her new neighbor, Bart, played by me. So should we tell people a little more about our character's first encounter?
I think we should. They'll love it.
Yeah, it's not the smoothest of introductions. You go in. There's a not to give too much away, but there is a pig involved in the home that causes a bit of a stir. As you said, there's a lot of luggage and chasing of pigs, and then this stranger shows up, who of course you have never met, in my character, and you make an assumption on who he might be, perhaps the handyman or the help. And my character Bart's, he's a nice guy, but he doesn't take too kindly to thinking that he's the help. So it's a bit of a rocky start, but I think we seem to recover and smooth it out from there.
Yes, yeah, we do. And yeah, June's used to everyone, being there to do things for her. So this is a whole new experience for June. My character June faces challenges trying to adapt, obviously, to a very different lifestyle and learn the ropes of running a farm. So what do I love most about June's journey and her character development? Well, I had so much fun with really playing up the heiress part of June, that this is someone who's grown up without really having to do too much for herself. She's not mean, she's not cruel, but she's a bit out of touch. And so yeah, I wanted to make sure that June didn't come off as condescending or anything, but she's just used to having things a certain way, and that way is that everyone around her is there to come to her beck and call. And so when she first meets Bart, yeah, she's sort of like, hi, you must be here to make me lunch and to do some things. But pretty soon we find out that's not the case, and June is going to have to do some growing up. And what I loved about June is that she kind of jumps in, like, just fully immerses herself. She's ready. She's like, okay, what do I have to do? I know this is going to be a lot, and it's certainly overwhelming. I know when you first give me the list, I'm like, all of this?
It's a long list.
It's a long list. Very long list.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved playing June's evolution into this idea of self-sufficiency, and that June, all of a sudden she's like, wait, maybe I do know how to do things on my own, and I can solve problems. And I actually don't know that I want to be that person anymore. And so I loved seeing sort of the arc of her realigning her priorities and finding what's really important.
That's right. And I got to say, from Bart's perspective, in meeting June, as you said, is lovely. It's just a world that she's never experienced before. And she goes at it with such a positive attitude, despite everything that's happened, the misfortune. It's very endearing to Bart's character, and she's the kind of character that just does not give up. And I think that's very admirable of her character. So, hence, Bart volunteers to help June honor her family's legacy at the Fall Farm by using her aunt's recipe and making her very well-known apple pies, award-winning apple pies, I may add. No pressure, June.
Yes.
So how does this team up bring them closer together?
Oof.
Well, I mean, it starts with there's a lot to do, as you mentioned. There's a long list of things. So just by literally him walking her through the day-to-day, what her Aunt Bertie used to do, it puts them in close proximity. She gets her hands dirty. There's chickens. There's pigs running around. And that alone, kind of introducing her to a part of her family's legacy that she never experienced, is really touching to watch. And I think sort of the subtext through it is not only like the tasks, but it's being introduced to a community of people that are very connected. My character, Bart's sister, works with him on our farm. And there's that sort of family aspect that I think is really appealing to your character. And it just introduces you to a whole bunch of really down-to-earth, salty-earth people. And it brings out a really cool side that June hadn't experienced before. So.
Yeah, it really does. And, as our characters get to know each other's home roots a little bit more, June and Bart start to realize that they actually have a lot in common. How do they help one another overcome past struggles? And I would say, one thing I really liked about Bart and June's conversation is Bart, like you said, he doesn't hold back. He lets her know what the deal is, what the problem is, what she needs to work on, but in a really kind way. And I think, they both realize that they are trying the best that they can to continue on a family legacy. And maybe they're not doing it the way that their family would have, or they're trying something different. And, I think that's something that so many people can relate to, is kind of forging a new path and, taking your family's legacy. And now how do you take that and make it your own? And how do you, step out from underneath it? And I think it's a really great transition for June and Bart. They both not only find this relationship and friendship and more with each other, but they find themselves and what's important to them through it too. And that I loved that journey of them as characters.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. I found the same. That was my favorite part of the story, is that two people from seemingly completely different worlds had so much in common in their past, dealing with loss, honoring their legacies, while carving a new path for themselves and sort of making their own while still honoring that. So it's really beautiful to watch. Yeah. Lastly, we would not be finished if we didn't talk a little bit more about pie, because this movie centers around pie, as all movies I think should.
You were very happy about these pie scenes. I have to say, Corey would be like, no, it's fine. I'll eat it. I'll take another bite. He was down for the apple pie.
I'm a pie guy. I asked for a few extra takes. I'm not going to lie.
Really, no joke. He was like, we can do it again. I could take a big bite.
You sure you don't want to grow an angle of this?
A big thing. He was like, no, I like pie. It's fine.
That's right. No. So I guess my question is if we were to bake pie, what flavor would we want to have?
I mean, I'm going to go pumpkin.
Pumpkin is fall. I mean, that's always a go-to.
Right? Like it's not fall without pumpkin pie.
Exactly.
Plus, when I was a kid, I loved pumpkin pie to the point that if you would have asked me what food would you have on a desert island, I at like 7 years old, I would have been like, pumpkin pie. I would have lived on pumpkin pie. So yeah, I'm not quite that intense about it now, but it is delicious.
Yeah. I would say I do also love a classic apple pie, but I like an apple crumble. So I like to take the apple pie and add a little crumble on top and do crumble. So that would be like my little twist up to
do like a pumpkin maple crunch.
Now we're talking. I'm liking that.
I think we're gonna need Heiress and the Handyman too, so just so that we can work out these pie recipes.
Just so I
Right,
can eat
you, Corey.
that.
I'm like, we need you to just be able to eat more pies in the sequel.
Exactly. I love that idea.
Well, Corey, thank you so much for joining me. I just can't wait for everybody to watch the premiere of The Heiress and the Handyman this Saturday, September 14th at 8 p.m. 7 Central, only on the Hallmark channel.
And you can tweet along with us while you're watching using the hashtag The Heiress and the Handyman.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Corey.